Hello everyone and welcome to another in and out video. Today we want to talk about January of 2023 and all the things that I have bought and decluttered during the last month. And I think let's get started. So as I said also in the last videos, it's not much that changes, and I think that's a good sign considering, being a minimalist for many years. So it's good to see that I don't constantly need to declutter or buy more things. And so the only thing that has come into my life is this microphone right here. So this is a new microphone and I actually bought it secondhand. So I picked it up here in the city from someone who did not need it anymore. And so it was also not that expensive. It's really heavy actually. And I think it's good quality and I'm happy with it so far. I've had it for a week or so now. And this microphone, in comparison to the microphones I previously had, is not like to mount on a camera, but it's made to connect to a computer or my phone. And it's like made for recording my voice. So this is something that I've wanted to buy for a long time. Like, not that I really wanted to buy it, but it's been in the back of my mind. It's also, you can also use it to like record singing or instruments. Now I don't own any instruments anymore. Like I used to play piano and pan flute, is it what you call it in English? But I also like singing, so maybe at some point I want to try making my own music for my YouTube videos, we'll see. But that is the item that has come into my life in January. And for the decluttering part, I actually have not decluttered anything. And sometimes this makes me kind of anxious because I think like, oh well, I feel like during the past few months making these in and out videos, there's more stuff coming in than going out. But on the other hand, I don't feel like I'm, over consuming and having so much stuff suddenly. So I don't think it will lead to a huge problem, and I'm pretty sure there will come a time where I declutter a few things again. Like my hair, it's growing and it's like difficult to put it in some kind of a hairstyle that doesn't look stupid at the moment, I think. But it's getting better, and I'm getting a haircut at some point. I'm not going to count that as decluttering when I declutter part of my hair. But what I also wanted to share with you as like a monthly update, recap, what's happened this month, together with this microphone, So January was really interesting. So as you know, I've made like a video in the beginning of January, like mentioning the goals I had last year and the goals I have for this year. And I think it's just a good time of the year. Plus I know that more people are searching for these kinds of videos around the change of the year. So it makes sense to make them at the beginning of the year. But for me personally, I actually wouldn't really say that, starting a new year means anything. Like, it doesn't feel like a fresh start. It doesn't feel like everything's gonna be different. And part of that is maybe because I'm just working on, because there's no real break. And the other thing is just because I think there's actually nothing changing except for how I write the dates of the day. And so I was really surprised to realize this January that it suddenly felt like something's changed. I suddenly felt like I had the energy or the right ideas or the courage to do certain things. And so, as I already mentioned, I started writing again. And I'm not sure if it's going to turn into a book anytime soon. But I did start writing, and that's great. Another thing I did is I made like a decision for my knitting business. I uploaded a pair of socks into my shop. I changed it to like costume orders are now through my Instagram stories, because that's gonna make a lot of things a lot easier for me. And so that was kind of also a big decision, also deciding that is kind of, I'm trying it this way now, and if that doesn't work, then we're closing the chapter of the knitting business, which is okay as well. And there are also two more things that have happened that I'm working on behind the scenes. And that's really exciting because for the past few years, I've more so just worked week to week and just made the videos and did not really have any like bigger stuff going on behind the scenes and bigger things I'm working on. And, so I'm gonna announce one thing today of these two remaining things kind of, which is that I have started a Patreon. And now that's something that I've been thinking about for 2 years. 2 years ago, I really started debating making a Patreon, and now I decided to actually launch it. So please go take a look at my Patreon page. And it's a bit of a scary thing for me to start this, because I feel kind of insecure about the commitment and about charging money from you in exchange for a certain value that I want to give you. But that is also what this microphone is partly for, because I've recorded a podcast episode for the patrons, and I'm gonna do live streams or possibly Zoom meetings or something. I think we can figure out something like that together, because I want this Patreon really to be a possibility to kind of connect more. I've mentioned in the past, I really struggle with answering emails. So if you write me an email, it's likely you did not get a response, because I get so many emails and I really kind of struggle with answering those. As well as the comments, I'm just not able to answer all the comments anymore below my YouTube videos. I try to read most of them. I try to read them especially at the beginning when the video goes live, but I really feel bad about it, but I'm just not able, like, both when it comes to time and when it comes to kind of the energy it takes to read all of the comments. And so Patreon, I know it's like you have to pay for it and everything, but I really hope it's going to be possible that we can connect there, that we can, that I can share a bit more private things, because it's like a smaller community. It's not like super public for everybody to watch, and that I can actually like really have discussions there with you and answer your questions, and that we can learn from each other, and that it's more so a place of connection instead of like just a one-way content street where you consume and I produce. And that's really what I hope this is going to be. And I've actually already like launched my Patreon for my email newsletter subscribers, but that's been 3 days ago if you see this. So now you have the chance as well to sign up. And I'm just very, very grateful for everybody who's watching, because I know now that you are mostly the people that watch all of my videos. And if you don't, you know, I'm grateful you're here now. Yeah, thank you. And if you choose to check out Patreon, if you choose to become a patron, thank you so much. And with these changes, this month kind of has been in the theme of like comfort zone. That's also something I've realized, that I kind of want to stretch my comfort zone again. I think I've lived a bit much in my comfort zone during the past few years, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like I'm ready to conquer some things, to put myself out there and to try some scary things again. And that's also what the podcast episode on Patreon is about. And I'm sharing much more about like my personal experience with stress and comfort zone, and pushing yourself versus doing stuff that feels good on an everyday basis, working towards goals, things like that. So, you can become a patron and check that out. What I wanted to do for today's video is actually going to the lake and jump into the cold lake. I've never been like in winter where it's actually freezing, but my throat hurts. And so I thought, when I'm just like getting a cold, it's not COVID, I made a test, it's negative, but when I'm like at the start of a cold and my throat really hurts, it's maybe not the best time of, in general, to jump into an ice cold lake and then having to ride my bike home and, being in the cold for over an hour. So I decided to not do that. Bummer, I really wanted to do it, and I think making a video about it would have given me the courage to actually do it. But I mustered up the courage to make a Patreon. I'm brave this year. I want to do stuff and be authentic and be vulnerable and put myself out there, and that's part of it. And maybe we're gonna jump in the lake in the remaining weeks of this winter. Before I end this video, I also want to say something to the people that are like members of this channel. So I started the channel memberships for a way to support me, because you asked me. But now I know that there's a tier where you pay about $5 or euros to be a YouTube member, and there's also a Patreon tier for €5. And on Patreon you will get a lot more, and I will get a lot more of that money, because YouTube takes way more like of these $5 or euros than Patreon does. So if you're like a €5 YouTube member and you want to change that, then I can highly recommend it for you, because you will get more and you will pay the same amount of money. But of course, if YouTube is more convenient for you, then... But Patreon, I thought, was just a better platform to deliver this additional content. And so, yeah, I decided to do it that way. I'm just super, super grateful for every single person that gives me your time. If you give me, you know, your time watching this video, leaving a thumbs up, leaving a super thanks, being a member, being a Patreon, being a supporter in any way, sharing videos with your friends, or just, you know, watching them. Thank you so, so much. I think this is the end of this video. Not much has come into my life or gone out of my life this month, but I think it's been a really interesting month, and I actually feel really good because it feels like I've gotten a lot done, even though I didn't always feel productive. So I'm excited to see what February will bring. And I hope to see you in my next video. But before I leave, I do want to link you a video here that I hope you'll check out. And until next time, bye.